Good morning. The 44th plenary meeting of the General Assembly is called to order. The Assembly will consider agenda item 122 entitled Question of Equitable Representation on and Increase in the Membership of the Security Council and other matters related to the Security Council. I will now make a statement as a President of the General Assembly. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, if there's any year in which we must build on the momentum of past sessions with renewed urgency, it is this one. Not only does this 80th session mark the 80th anniversary of the United Nations, it also marks the first anniversary of the Pact for the Future, which was adopted by the General Assembly by consensus during the 79th session. And it comes at a time when our organization is undertaking a process of renewal to better meet today's challenges, including through the UN80 initiative. As I've said repeatedly, this 80th anniversary is not only a moment for celebration, it is a moment of reflection, action, and leadership to make this organization, our United Nations, fit for the 21st century. The membership has been clear about its different priorities in this regard. During High-Level Week, over 100 world leaders specifically referred to the need for Security Council reform, among other reform steps. In doing so, their calls complemented the vision set out in the Pact for the Future, which reiterates the urgent need to make the Council more representative, inclusive, transparent, efficient, effective, democratic, and accountable. This included calls to enlarge the Security Council so that it is more representative of the current United Nations membership and reflective of the realities of the 21st century. In line with the Pact's call to accelerate progress on Security Council reform, I appointed 2 co-chairs early in the session to advance efforts in this priority track. I thank Her Excellency Lise Grégoire van Haren, Permanent Representative of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, and His Excellency Tarek Al-Banai, Permanent Representative of the State of Kuwait, for their leadership and commitment as co-chairs of the intergovernmental negotiations on Security Council reform. And I could encourage them, after 17 years of reform discussions, to use the momentum to explore and take the next steps, not only in the light of the calls of the head of state and government during High-Level Week, but also in light of the discussions I've had with you in the last weeks and months, as many approached me in this matter. Excellencies, as the member states are those in whose hands the reform process lies, and I would like to reiterate the call in the Pact for the Future, which encouraged delegations to submit further models of the Security Council reform, as well as to review and refine existing proposals. The goal must be to develop a consolidated model that builds upon convergences across the 5 clusters, relating to, first, the relationship between the Security Council and the General Assembly. Second, size of an enlarged Security Council and the working methods of the Council. Third, categories of membership. Fourth, the question of the veto. And fifth, regional representation. We need to ask, are there areas in which these clusters, where groups could offer greater clarity, or demonstrate flexibility to move discussion forward and find common ground? This is also the moment today to discuss these different questions. And this moment, with the 80th anniversary, the UN80 initiative and quite strong headwinds, is a moment when the world looks to the United Nations to renew faith in multilateralism. We must show that progress is possible. The Security Council, as one of the most important and most well-known organs, cannot be left out of this reform process. especially as it too often finds itself paralyzed. This lends to the misconception that the UN as a whole is unable to respond to today's challenges. As we advance a broader UNAID reform process, ensuring that the Council overcomes its blockages and better reflects today's membership is one of the most critical parts of the reform, as many member states have underlined. Yet we know we are not living in a world where change can happen in a matter of days. And it will be difficult to achieve during the 80th session what hasn't been agreed in the last 17 years, especially as the lines of divisions feel deeper than ever before. Nonetheless, making steady and real progress is important, particularly as there exists broad agreement among member states on the importance of this process and on the principles that guide it as reflected in the Pact for the Future. To not make progress, to miss the opportunity afforded by the UNAID initiative and the Security Council reform would be to jeopardize the credibility of the United Nations as such. Reform demands not only persistence, but creativity, not only conviction, but compromise. Let this 80th session be remembered as a moment when we moved forward from reflection to resolve, from promises to action, and from discussions to tangible progress, to show that we are also in this regard indeed better together. I thank you.